So the country of Romania is making viral attention, ladies and gentlemen, once again. I think it was one of the members of parliament. I'm not totally sure I remember the name, but there was a member of parliament from Romania in the European Union parliamentary system that hammered hard against Justin Trudeau here in Canada about the mandates, about the overreach and authoritarianism when it came to COVID, how the conspiracies and how he conspired with the big pharmaceuticals to create this authoritarian trench on people, increase the surveillance state. That's why we have the ArriveCan app. That's why, you know, we've had these mandates and lockdowns for periods of time. People had to rise up there. You know, he thanked the truckers for preaching a voice, you know, being the silent majority in Canada. And this is coming from a guy in Romania. And it made viral attention, made shockwaves internationally, and made viral attention here on Twitter. And it's happening once again. It's happening once again. But this time, it's not at Justin Trudeau. It's actually at the health minister of the European Union, that he's questioning their science, questioning their data, which, if anyone knows a thing or two about science, you actually have to question it in order for science to evolve. That's kind of the whole point of science. And if we don't question it and just believe it like it's some sort of religion, then science doesn't actually evolve, and doesn't actually evolve in through society, and we don't actually get further ahead with technology and advancements. So, first I want to show you just a side-by-side comparison of what it's like for a politician that's deeply enriched in the pharmaceutical propaganda, which you're going to see here with Justin Trudeau. Because he's going to say that winter's coming, and that's dangerous. I'm at the fearmonger to you, which means you got to vax up. You got to go to quadruple booster or quintuple booster. How many we're up to now. But here's what he had to say about, you know, the upcoming months, because apparently it's very dangerous.
Things to remember is COVID's not done with us yet. We might want to be done with it, but it's still around. And yes, we have a lot more tools, a lot more understanding, a lot more knowledge on how to keep ourselves and our loved ones safe that have allowed us to get back to regular life in a lot of ways for a whole bunch of people.
So saying, yes, we have a lot of information, tools, and advancements. Maybe understanding that knowledge of the fact that the virus is never going to go away. Maybe acknowledge the understanding that this virus, with all the variants, the BA5 from the BA1 or BA2 or the Omicron from Delta or whatever. Yes, there are more variants coming out, but they're getting weaker and weaker and weaker. And if you look at the scientific data analysis of the virus itself, every variant is getting weaker. It's more contagious, but it's getting weaker. And the symptoms are representing very common to a cold. So that's something to acknowledge, and that's what he's not doing in this conversation. He's saying that, yes, there's a lot of new information that we're discovering, but he's not using that information. So really, he's not following the science. And like I said in the last video, who's the real extremist in this? Who's the real extremist that's not following science? Him? Or someone who's actually sitting at home, going on the internet, and maybe listening to a few doctors who have treated people with COVID, who have studied the virus, who have actually went and did clinical trials.
But we also know that as winter comes and as people get pushed back indoors, there is a real risk of another serious wave of COVID. One of the best things we can do to prevent that wave, prevent the pressure on our healthcare system, prevent provinces from having to take decisions around restrictions and mandates, is to ensure that everyone is up to date in their vaccinations. The recommendation is,
no, the best thing you can do about this virus is educate people about the virus. Educate people of the vaccines, and educate people on the effectiveness of the virus, educate people on the severity of the variants, educate people on the other natural ways to, as precursors, as precautions. Talk about vitamin D, talk about zinc, talk about, weight loss. Talk about all the studies and clinical trials that have been introduced, and talk about all that information that was silenced away from the public to advance big pharmaceuticals. Educate people that you've been lied to throughout this pandemic. Educate people to think critically about that stuff. That's all the things that you should be doing to prevent another wave, to prevent another lockdown. But he's not doing that. He's just telling people, go get vaccinated, without any scientific analysis or any proof or any scientific statement to back that claim. There's no analysis to back that argument. It's just go get vaccinated. It's a marketing ploy, what he's doing.
You should be up to date in your vaccinations if you have had a dose within 6 months. Everyone who has been a while since their vaccination should look at the fact that we have new vaccines coming out this month that are tailored against Omicron, that will provide better protection, and everyone should get out and get vaccinated.
Did they also tell people that they weren't properly tested? That the new vaccines that are coming out, the boosters, were tested on 8 mice. There was no human testing. And they hid away that data. And they legally put it in a lock cap so that people would not discover the truth. Are you going to tell people that? Are you going to warn people about that? God, no. You just got to be up to date. You got to be up to date on your vaccines. You got to go to number 5 or number 6 or number 20 when we get to, next year. This is all just a marketing ploy for pharmaceuticals, because there is no exact medical data analysis or information that's backing this claim. He has no proof of evidence to back the claims that he's saying. He's just saying exactly what Pfizer is telling him to say, because they're co-opted with the Canadian government, just like they're co-opted with the American government, just like they're co-opted with other governments. But here's where this gets interesting. So you just saw what it's like to be a corrupted politician in Big Pharma light. But here's the Romanian member of parliament. And he's speaking directly to the health minister about the recent discoveries that he found out, because he actually did his own research, God forbid. He did his own research to find out that things are not exactly into line. Things are not exactly right. Something smells fishy in the room. And here's what he's about to say.
Answer from Emma, which is showing for every vaccine the kind of tests that were done. So in the case of Moderna, for example, you provided data showing that you tested these vaccines since 2017, 2018, 2019. So how were you able to test these vaccines back then when we found out about this virus in December of 2019?
So how is it someone like him is able to make a valid point like that and ask a very good question, but no one in the Canadian government, no one in the American government is willing to step up and ask that question? That's a valid point. People should be making that point. Why is it that you have studies from 2017, 18, and 19 on a vaccine for a virus that we didn't even know about till the end of 2019 into 2020? How does that make sense? How do you already have studies done of a vaccine to a virus that's not even out yet? How does that make sense? How does that make sense? That's the question people should be asking. And that's the question people like Justin Trudeau should be asking. But no, he's co-opted with big pharmaceuticals. So he's not going to ask that question. He's just going to go along with their playbook. This guy is not going to take it down, though. This guy is going to stand up and listen to the rest.
Second question, the contracts. You mentioned here that there are some secrets or some confidential information in these contracts that should protect your interests. Now, the question that I address to you, what about the interests of us and the interests of the European citizens? Because this is how some of the pages from the contract between Moderna and the European Commission is showing. So I'm asking you, do you think this is fair to all of us? To talk about these vaccines, to talk about boosters?
I'm sorry, I'm just laughing because it reminds me of those, ink blob things from a therapy office. Like, how does this look to you? How does this look to you? Does this look like a fair contract? No, I actually see a bat in a cave. But he's making valid points. He's making valid points, and I wish more people asked the questions that he was asking. Like, I wish I thought of these questions, but I didn't know about this because, again, a lot of the information, the useful, accurate, vital information is hidden away from the public spotlight. Why? So they can avoid questions like this. So they won't get confronted, which is what we're supposed to do with big pharmaceuticals because they're massively corrupted.
To talk about medical products when we don't know the clauses of these contracts. So the direct question to you, Mr. Boncelli, is when are you going to fully publish the contracts that you had both with the European Commission and with the member states of the European Union? Another question, the issue of liabilities. You were asked by our colleague here about the liabilities and you avoided to answer this question. So my question to you is, why are you pushing the liabilities on the states and on the people who receive these vaccines and might have, and I say might have, adverse effects while you get all the profits? Nevertheless, the bivalent boosters, this is the last question.
Yeah, but
you just stated here that these boosters were requested by the US government, who also approved the boosters without trials on humans. So I'm asking you, do you think this is fair? Do you think we can go and ask the European citizens to be vaccinated with some medical products that were not properly tested or not at all tested in humans? Thank you.
Mr. Terrace, next time I'll deduct 40 seconds from your speaking time.
He just made such great, vital arguments. He made valid points. He made actual criticism of the botched data and analysis from Moderna. The fact that they hid their own data, the fact that they approved a booster shot without clinical tests, the fact that this has been hidden, the fact that they've mandated this to people, an experimental drug that has no real analysis or testing to approve or to show the effectiveness on people. It is one of the biggest global scandals in history. And it feels like this is the only guy in a member of parliament, maybe Claire Daly, I don't know. It feels like this is the only few people that are willing to actually step up and ask the question that needs to be asked. And the Ministry of Health's response, I don't know if you heard there, we're gonna backtrack that, but listen to her response after making valid points and criticism. Because you saw she was shaking her head like, no. Oh, no. This guy is making points, and it's going to hurt me. It's going to hurt my salary. It's going to hurt my chances in my company position. Here's her response, though.
In humans, thank you.
Mr. Terrace, next time I'll deduct 40 seconds from your speaking time.
Next time, I'm gonna duck 40 seconds out of your time. I'm gonna duck because you're saying not nice words. Take it from neoliberalism to, be the tone police in a situation like this. Like, the guy is making correct factual claims and points that every single human being should be aware of before they witness or even have questions about Moderna. Their response is tone policing what he's saying. Like, he's not saying it in a nice way. He's accurate, though. He's making valid points because we could show up 100,000 articles that prove exactly what he's saying. But her response is, "No, we got to cut back because he's saying not nice words." That's neoliberalism for you. That's the lefty response. That's the inner liberal inside of them. That they're exactly Republicans. They're exactly like, you know, conservatives, but they're a little nicer with their words. We're very polite in this way.
With all due respect, it's an important issue, and the reason why they are here is to answer questions. Yeah. And I see that they are all avoiding answering concrete questions from my colleagues.
Yeah, but it's also respectful for your colleagues.
They have to be...
And he has to be respectful. You have to be respectful to these people. You're making too many good truth points. You're making too many bold points, and that's bad. That's bad. You got to be quiet. You gotta let people. You gotta listen to them out. Don't make me have to cancel you, sir. Don't make me have to silence you out. I may have to cut this guy's mic. I have to cut him out an extra 30 seconds because he's making not nice words. There you go there. But there you go. That is someone who's willing to actually have the courage and stance and stamina to be the voice of reason and to be the person that, you know, majority of people would be asking right now. If they were in his shoes and had that moment, you know, with Fauci or Theresa Tam, I think that's the health minister here in Canada. I'm blanking on the name already. I'm having a brain fart moment. That's the questions we should be asking. You know, bringing up the fact that we're approving boosters without clinical trials. The fact that they're hiding their data. The fact that they have legal lockdowns so that people can't sue pharmaceuticals when they have severe side effects to an experimental drug. The fact that they're hiding all this information. The fact that they're buying airtime and everything's brought to you by pharma on the major networks. Like, these are all things people should be asking and aware of and bringing to the table at every point in turn when mentioning about COVID. But we live in such a bot-corrupted society run by criminals and evil, sadistic masterminds that thinking this guy is disrespectful in a way. He's disrespectful to the health minister, but Moderna's been disrespectful to the general public for not actually being medically aware and being truthful to the people that are accepting their vaccines. That's neoliberalism right there, ladies and gentlemen. And this guy, kudos to him for standing up and actually being the voice of what we need to hear. This is kind of refreshing. After hearing the lies and turmoils of Justin Trudeau and Joe Biden and Fauci and Bill Gates and all the other figures, and even parts of Europe still are sidelined with big pharmaceuticals. And take it from a guy from Romania to be the voice of reason. It's mind-boggling. It's interesting. It's so enlightful.